Hey everybody, hope it's going good. It's the 5th of March. It's a nice Tuesday evening. Hope it's going good for you. But we got an episode right here, and I hope you're ready because I myself personally am. So we can probably move on, right? So our first news blurt here is kind of it's not, I wouldn't say controversial because a lot of these rule changes are okay. There's only two things that are really being considered. So the NHL general managers met today in Florida and they had a discussion on possible rule changes. So there's two that have been approved, okay? So the most important one is that the possibility of the penalty for not leaving the ice after losing your helmet is a penalty that is in the books. That'll probably be there next season. It's kind of a dangerous thing. It's a safety thing, really. Is that it's easy for you to just leave the ice surface and get a different player out there than to keep playing and possibly get injured more, or take a puck to the face. Something. It's an important thing, and I understand it. I'm not really. I wouldn't say I fully 100% support it, because I think you should still be in the game regardless. And yeah, injuries happen. That's just in hockey. That's how it always has been. I mean, you're not gonna see guys like if you look at like pictures of like goalies from the 1930s where they just got scars all over their faces. Like if you look at Terry Sawchuk, it's not gonna be that impactful, but it is a safety precaution that if you can just leave the ice as fast as possible, the better. Another thing is choosing where you're going to take the face off. Okay, so if you're assessed a penalty, you have to defend against a power play. You're on the penalty kill. That's a normal thing. But this rule changes so that the team that is gaining the power play gets to choose which side of the ice they want to take the faceoff on. So they want it the left or the right side of the goalie, so the other team can adjust for that. So usually it's closest to where it's committed. That's usually the rule. I believe it's actually supposed to always be on the right of the goalie. So the other team just needs to defend on that, and so it's probably looking like that's going to be a thing where you get to choose which side of the ice you get to take the face-off on. So those are the two possible rule changes that we're going to see probably next season or coming to that. They're minor things. They really probably won't change so much. The face-off thing is what will probably change the game because then strategy, if you're choosing, okay, so we're better on the left side, so we should take the face-off on the left side. For example, if you look at like the Capitals, for example, Alex Ovechkin, if he can get a forehand shot or a forehand slap shot from a one-timer right off the face-off, that's dangerous. He does that all the time. So that's one thing that the league, I think, is trying to work on. So that if the Capitals get the chance, they're probably going to take it, so that Ovechkin can get it because he's a great winger and he's got a scary shot. So I don't think it'll change the game too much. It'll just be a thing that they'll have to work on attacking and defending. That's basically what the game of hockey is. Kind of attack and defend until somebody makes a mistake. That's kind of how the game has always been. So I don't think it'll change it too much. Now, our next piece of news is about Brandon Sutter for the Canucks, who's going to be out the rest of the season with a hernia. Okay, so hernias, I'm sure, are painful. I've thankfully never had a hernia myself, but obviously you can't play well when you have something herniating out of your body. So he obviously needs the time to get better. He's going to have surgery to repair that because it's not dangerous to be doing physical work, or it's very dangerous to be doing physical work with a hernia. It could get worse and kind of cripple your legs for a moment. It's not ideal to do that. So hopefully it takes his time to get that repaired and everything's good for him. Like I said, that's definitely not something you want to happen to you ever in your life. So, but he is a hockey player and he works physically every single day. So, the chances and likelihood of that are probably higher for a hockey player. So good for him getting the attention he needs, and hopefully surgery goes well for him and he'll be back on the ice next season for the Canucks. So our last piece of news is about Garrett Sparks, the backup goaltender for the Maple Leafs behind Freddie Anderson. He re-signed with the Maple Leafs. He's getting a 1-year contract extension worth $750,000. So I don't remember if he's been. I think he only 1 or 2 years experience with the Maple Leafs. I believe he's not very new. Freddie Anderson's kind of young too. Both their goalies are really young, so very good for them. So they got Sparks behind Anderson for another year at least, and then obviously Freddie Anderson's been tearing it up every day. So not much to worry in the goalie department. So good move for the Maple Leafs. So now moving on to games to watch. The Jets and the Lightning, very high stakes game. I wish I had this on TV. I don't tonight, so can't watch it. So the Jets are just trying to get in a higher playoff position. Playoffs is pretty much secured for them if they keep what they're doing up. As soon as injuries stop becoming a problem, with like Morrissey and Bufflin out, and Lowry's out also on suspension. But once those things are subsided, I'm sure the Jets will probably reclaim where they were and do well. So the Lightning themselves are just probably trying to clinch the division and clinch the conference or whatever they need to relax. Because I'm sure as soon as they clinch the Atlantic Division, obviously all the weight's off their shoulders. They're going for a record right now, I'm sure. To be the most winningest team ever, win the most games in a season. So that's probably going to be the case. I think they're on track with tying the 95-96 Red Wings, which hold the record. I think it's 66 wins. Lightning are already over 50, so they're on their way. The Lightning, I'm sure, just want to secure it. They did say that they were trying to go for the Stanley Cup. Obviously, every team's going for the Stanley Cup. But if they can get that, good for them. They should go for the accolade of being the winningest team ever. Their GM's built a great team. Steve Yzerman, by the way. So we'll have to see how the Lightning go, and they're playing the Jets, so we'll have to see how that goes. And then our second game to watch is between the Wild and the Predators. So Wild are currently in a wild card playoff spot. They need to secure it. The Coyotes are actually, I believe, tied or at least within 1 or 2 points from there. So the Wild need to win this game to stay afloat. Now, the season's not just over yet, so the Wild still have time to work. But if they can keep having the wild card spot secured for a long time, then that's exactly what they need. The Predators are one of the best teams in the West, so they really don't have to worry too much. They just want a higher seed. They have San Jose and Calgary ahead of them. Winnipeg's ahead of them too, and they've been kind of battling back and forth with Winnipeg. So Predators want to win this game to get a better space, and the Wild want this to stay afloat. So it's going to be a kind of high-stakes game from Nashville. So now moving on to our stats, we have points leading by Nikita Kucherov, assists leading by Nikita Kucherov. 106 points, 75 assists. Very good. And then goals, as we talked about the other day, Alex Ovechkin's still at 45 goals. He's looking to hit the 50 mark, he said. So we'll see how that one works. There's still about a month left in the season, so we could definitely hit it. We'll just have to see how much he can do. And then plus minus is led by Ron Hainsey. He's got a plus 36, so amazing for a defenseman. Keeping the defense in, keeping the Leafs in the game every day. And then goalies, we have Jordan Binnington of the Blues leading in both goals against average and save percentage. He's been doing great. He's a rookie. Good to see these guys getting some great accolades at a young age. So at 168 goals against average and a 93.3 save percentage. And then our good friend Marc-Andre Fleury has been here pretty much all season. He's sitting at 32 wins as a goalie and 8 shutouts alone in both categories. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Hockeybar. Really appreciate your support. If you're new to the channel, do make sure you hit the subscribe button. We post videos every day. And I wanted to thank you guys again for tuning in, and we hope to see you soon.